Hello, and thank you for joining us here on this episode of Sharing the Light. If you are wondering about other episodes of Sharing the Light that you may have missed, we invite you to visit our cathedral website at www.sunshinecathedral.org, where you can find other Sharing the Light episodes. But for today, we invite you to join our senior minister and guests as they discuss praying for others. So let's listen in now on this wonderful topic on praying for others. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Sharing the Light. I'm Durrell Watkins, the senior minister here of the Sunshine Cathedral in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And joining me today for the third time now in this series, we're talking about prayer, is the Reverend Kathy Alexander from D.C. and the Reverend Cindy Lippert from Phoenix-y kind of area, Arizona, Cave Creek, where she lives in an opulent mansion surrounded by beautiful cacti and mountains and that sort of thing.
Wow.
What?
Sounds good.
That's not a denial. You know it's true.
No.
And this thing here where I do not enjoy such luxury. So, but we have the ocean. She has miles and miles of beach, but no water.
We have beach, just no.
Arizona's all beach.
Right. All beach.
Where's the water? Okay, so we're here though today talking about praying for others, and that's a good thing, right? Let's pray for people. But I wonder if there's some ethical issues around praying for people. I pray differently for people who ask for prayer than I do for people who don't. Because if you've asked me for prayer, you've asked for something. You've come to me, and so I'm agreeing with you. That I want what you want. I want you to be happy. I want you to be safe. I want you to have your needs met. But if you say pray for my mother, well, I've never met your mother. I don't know what your mother wants. So I might actually be at cross purposes. I'm praying for what I think is good, and your mother may not even want what you want for her. So I'm very careful I pray differently when I pray for people who I don't know. Or if I see something on the news, and I see disaster, and, so I feel compelled to pray. But I don't try, I've got to try to figure out how to wish them well without imposing what my image of well is. Because, it might not look the same. And so I pray for others, but I pray differently for people who ask for prayer than I do for people who don't. And I may even pray differently for people than I pray for myself, because I'm pretty clear about what I want. I know what I think you said you wanted, but even then I might not be. So I try to be pretty sensitive about not making my prayers be an imposition of my ideas. So if I'm praying, if someone prays for my mother is sick, will you pray for my mother? I may pray for healing, understanding that in your mother's mind, healing may be release. Healing may mean I'm done. Yeah. In your mind, you're probably wanting mom to, bounce up and, start making Thanksgiving dinner. And maybe that's what she wants too. And in which case, please let that happen.
Yeah.
But, I just don't know what's in her consciousness. I don't know what's in her heart. So what I want is for her to be at peace and for her to feel good and for her to have joy and that's healing. And maybe that also looks like, the foot grows back or, whatever, who knows. So there's that. But if you say, pray for me, I'm having surgery and I really want to get through this surgery. Well, then, I want you to get through the surgery too. And, speedy recovery, complete recovery and all of that. And if I ask you to pray for me, I'm going to say, pray, very specifically, there's a thing, would you pray for me? And all of that. So I'm wondering how do you address the ethics? How do you, and it's not even a new concept for a lot of people, that there are ethics involved in praying for others. So prayer is a large part of what we do for a living. It's part of our job description. But then there's the corporate prayer and the private prayer. There's the prayer that I just intuit needs to be done. There's the prayer you ask for yourself. There's the prayer you ask for others. There's the prayer you just you see an accident on the side of the road and you pray. Like there's all of these different things that need prayer. Do we have a different sort of mental attitude and ethical way of doing that, of offering what we're offering as people of prayer in these various situations?
You're looking at me.
Yeah, we're.
That's a spectacular question, and you've named some very specific things, the ethics of prayer, the speaking with alignment and unity of voice in prayer, with one person might ask. My friend might say, "Pray for me to win the lottery," and my prayer actually would be different words from that than that specific thing, knowing what they would want. So there is something that happens when we raise our voices together with the universe and all the other voices in this universe. As I think it through and as I think about it, I absolutely must be able to walk with integrity myself when people come to me to ask for prayer. So I'm responsible for corporate prayer in my worship environment, and that corporate prayer is a prayer that many can hook into. I don't know all the needs of the community, and so I can pray for the communal needs that I know of in a corporate setting. When there's that one-on-one prayer, I think my prayer becomes more general. It becomes divine. I would want the best for this person, and whether the best looks like this, or this, please provide the best. And for me, that's walking in integrity and praying for others.
There is a story that you love and have worked with in ministry, and the man at the Pool of Bethesda. And one of the things about the man at the Pool of Bethesda is that Jesus doesn't look at someone suffering and force a miracle on him. His question is, do you want to be well?
Right.
Like, he didn't even assume that maybe you're getting a lot out of this. You may have some attachment to this. Yeah, you're complaining, but maybe you like to complain. I mean, who knows? And even if that's all subconscious, maybe you would deny it if confronted with that. And yet, yeah,
Right.
But so he just asked him a direct question. What do you want? Do you want to get well? In fact, Jesus not only never forced a miracle on anyone, he usually invited people to participate in it, to take some ownership of it. Stretch forth your hand, get up, take your bed and go somewhere. Like, it was always participate in it. It was never forced. Like, what do you want? Okay, now do it. And then he would say, your faith, your consciousness, your trust, your mindset has facilitated this. He didn't even take credit for it when it happened. So there's I think that's a great lesson about praying for others. I will pray with you. What do you want? Right. and then participate in your own miracle, and then I will celebrate with whatever happens, even if it's not what I would have wanted for myself.
Yeah, Jesus never even laid hands on that man.
Yeah.
And we tend to, in a lot of the faith communities, you have to lay hands on somebody. And I'm all about whatever a person thinks that they need. If they need oil, if they need anointing, that somehow facilitates them to feel better. But
we'll grease you up. Here, we'll grease you up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very moving. I love that symbolically. I love that. Prayer's kind of in three parts for me. First of all, when a person wants prayer, I don't need to hear their details, but they need to tell them. And oftentimes, not always, but they need to tell that dread. I think that's part of their healing, is to be able, we know this from therapy, that a person has to tell their story 50 times in order to be able to shred it and move on. The other thing is, I'm more inclined when somebody asks for prayer, like on Facebook or something like that, I just have a couple of words, and so it is. Amen. That's it. And so it is done. I'm more inclined to probably just affirm for that person ease and effortlessness in all things, and clarity emerging now for that person, because I think it is about attitude, the healing that comes. I need a job. Okay, clarity about that. Divine ideas that are emerging for you now, the right and perfect person that's coming up. But more importantly, and this is just my personal belief, it's about aligning ourselves with that ultimate source. And once we're aligned, we have no need. I think it was Louise Hay that said, all I need I have no need. And I love that. It just kind of puts things back in alignment, that whether it's a physical healing or an emotional healing, or I need a job, how am I going to pay the rent? All is well. It is well with my soul. And those divine ideas that come up, and write them down, and like you said, make a plan, and work the plan, and ask for more divine ideas. But I'm more inclined to just agree, yes, and say, agree with you. But what you're going to hear from me more than not is, and so it is.
Yeah.
It's done.
When people ask, I need this amount of money, or I want to win the lottery, or I need a promotion, or whatever, I usually pray for abundance, because that's what you're saying. You're saying I can only imagine abundance coming from this way. So, but I don't want to limit the channel. The source is limitless. I don't want to say that the source can only flow through the single channel. So I will pray for abundance. I will affirm abundance rather than your limited idea of how abundance has to come from.
It's a gobsmacking idea that we are inextricably fused to a limitless supply. Yes. I mean, most of us can't wrap our brains around that. Yes, but if we can capture that in our imagination, we begin to know there's no need. I need to align with it.
Another prayer request I get a lot is when there is some sort of discord in a relationship. Make this other person love me, or keep their promises to me, or be faithful to me, or and instead of I don't get to control. I have even less influence over your lover than you do. So so rather than sort of feed into some codependent desperation, what I usually pray is that the person feel loved, that the person be at peace, that the person have the ideal relationship. And if it's that person, great. I mean, I always want things to work out. I don't want people to break up, and I always want things to work out. But I also know that that's not my call sometimes. So, but we all deserve to feel loved and happy and safe, and so I'll pray these things, and people usually seem satisfied because they're hearing what they want to hear anyway. They're just happy that somebody listened to them and cared.
That's part
they
of
felt
the healing.
Heard, and they felt like they had voice.
Yeah. Being heard is part of the healing.
Mm-hmm. So when someone asks for prayer, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Though when they're saying, try to rig the universe to make everything happen this my way, that's probably not going to work, and it may not even be the best practice to try. Though certainly in my own life, there have been times when I felt moments of desperation. Please God, make it work out just this way, and that's just never an empowering feeling, though.
Yeah.
Even if it happens, even if things work out, that moment was not an empowering moment where you felt absolutely powerless and hopeless and helpless and reduced to begging. I just try not to pray that way anymore.
I agree.
Help me see the good, help me embrace the good, help me be open to the good, rather than make this happen my way, because surely this is the only good thing that could happen. Well, if you let go a little bit, if you dial that back a little bit, God might even have something better. And sometimes that's a phrase, this or something better. If you just can't let go of your idea, but you want to, maybe that. Give me this or something better.
And leave yourself open to the miracle. My language has been lately, I'm expecting a miracle. Let me see the miracle. And the way I define the miracle is... bring it to me. I mean, whatever it's going to be. And let me be aware and recognize it when it comes along.
And the minute we have a change of perception, that's a miracle. The minute we see more than we saw.
Yes.
The minute we're open to experiencing more than we were before. That's and my favorite story of that is Hagar in the wilderness. She's desperate. She's crying. We're going to die. She's crying and expressing her pain. And the angel calls out to her, and she looks up, and there's a well in the wilderness. The well was always there. She would have died needlessly of starvation and thirst. But when she broadens her perspective, she sees what she didn't see before, and she and Ishmael are saved. So that's my favorite miracle story. There are wells in the wilderness. We don't see them though when we're just so focused on the problem. When we broaden our perspective, oh look, there are wells. You may still be in the wilderness, but you've got a means of getting through it.
Yes.
So, all right, we will. Be happy to pray for you here at the Sunshine Cathedral. If you will send an email to prayer@sunshinecathedral.net, you can go to sunshinecathedral.net or .org. It's the same website. There's a prayer request page there. You can call 954-462-2004, extension 3. There's a dial a prayer where you can hear a prayer. We'll be happy to pray with you, whatever your issue is. And now you know how we might be going about doing that. We're certainly going to hope with you for your highest and best good. Thank you for joining us, for sharing the light.
Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Sharing the Light. Tell your friends about this online ministry, and when you're in Southeast Florida, make sure you worship with us on a Sunday at the 9 a.m., the 10:30 a.m., or the 6 p.m. service. And now for a final word from our senior pastor, the Reverend Dr. Durrell Watkins.
Email me at Durrell@sunshinecathedral.net if you have a religious question or if you'd like to subscribe to our daily devotional magazine, Spirit and Truth. We'll send it anywhere in the United States for an annual donation of any size. You can also email us prayer requests, or you can make donations on our website, www.sunshinecathedral.org. You'll also want to check out our great performing arts series, religious education classes, conferences, and other exciting activities. For now, we wish you many blessings on your spiritual journey.